Hello, everybody out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. Of course, I'm Diego, and today we are going to finish talking about this episode of And Just Like Crap, Season 3, Episode 10, which is titled Better Than Sex. Better Than Sex. What are they trying to mean? Excuse me, what are they trying to mean by that title? Better Than Sex? Better Than Sex and the City? No, it's not Better Than Sex and the City. Okay? I don't know what they're trying to do with this title here. Better Than Sex. Is that something to do with maybe that Carrie thinks that Duncan cares more about her mind than he does about, pumping and dumping her or something? Is that what this is about? Is this about, maybe Brady knocking up a girl that he doesn't know very well, okay, and becoming a dad at the age of 20 and having to live with his mom? Is that what it means? Does it mean Charlotte having her emotional meltdown over her husband's prostate cancer diagnosis that he already had his surgery for? But she's the one that's still suffering. She suffered more than him throughout the whole thing. This is no. All she wanted was self-pity. She just wanted people to feel sorry for her through this hard time. Okay? That made no sense. Was that better than sex? How about Lisa and her husband? He's running for city comptroller because she kind of like forced him into it. He actually didn't want to do it, if you remember. He said he wanted to postpone it. But she all of a sudden she just decided at some party or something that she volunteered her husband to run for city comptroller, and he doesn't make it. He loses. Okay, how is that better than sex? How is telling each other that you're just human? You're human. How is that better than sex? It makes no sense, okay? It's definitely not better than Sex and the City. With all the faults that Sex and the City had, and I know because I reviewed every single episode, it's on this channel, if you don't believe me, okay? With all the faults that Sex and the City had, and it did have some faults, okay? I don't think they were really trying to push a hard left agenda. Okay, I mean, there were leftists, definitely, and that was pretty damn obvious, okay? They were woke, but they weren't hitting you over the hammer with it, okay? This show, And Just Like Crap, they made sure from the very first episode of season 1 that you, the audience, that you understood that all of the white women, with the exception of Samantha, because, what's her name, Kim Cattrall did not want to come back, all the women had a person of color as their best friend. Okay? You notice that? Okay, that was done on purpose. Okay? There's a reason that Charlotte's best friend was Lisa now. There's a reason Miranda's best friend was Naya, the college professor. There's a reason that Carrie's best friend was now Seema, okay, the real estate agent, okay? The Hindu real estate agent. Okay, there's a reason for that. Okay, that wasn't on accident. That wasn't for better storytelling. That wasn't to explore possibilities or anything like that. That was just because they had to. They had to. You understand? There's a reason that Shay Diaz became a main character for the first 2 seasons, okay? A main character, not a fuck buddy that disappears after 1, 2, or 3 episodes. No, a main character. Like, she had her own subplots, she had her own storylines, she knew her own people, separate from the 3 main women. You see what I mean? Okay, there's a reason that happened. Okay, and it wasn't to tell a better story. It wasn't to progress the lives of the only 4 main characters that really give a shit about. Okay, who were they? They were Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, and I guess you can throw Anthony in there too. And now I would also say Stanford, but unfortunately Willie Garson passed away in the first season, so we didn't see very much of him. Okay, although his character is still alive on the show. This is the height of bad storytelling. If you look at the people, look at the photographs of the people that wrote this show. Okay, you already know about Michael Patrick Queen. Obviously, that guy's a bitch working for Sarah Jessica Parker. You already know that. He's going to do whatever she says. Okay, because he took over Sex and the City in the second season. All right, but look at the other writers in the show. Look at Samantha Irby. Okay, that right there should tell you everything you need to know about why this show is terrible. Okay, they're never going to go out and tell you that the show is terrible. They're gonna blame you for not liking the excellence that is in Just Like Crap. Okay, they're gonna blame the fans. Okay, that the fans are all racist, they're all sexist, they're all homophobe, they're all transphobe, they're all all these things. The same thing they tell men when we don't watch their shit. Okay, the exact same thing. You know, that's what they're gonna do. Okay, but the truth is, the show has no quality. Okay, these characters have not progressed at all. What has Miranda done? Okay, so she left Steve and got divorced. Yeah, she did all that in the first season. What has she done since then? Nothing. Nothing. Well, she got a new girlfriend. She's already been like dating fucking monsters. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's not like she dated anyone that the audience was like, oh wow, I want to see more of her. No, there's nothing like that. You see what I mean? One of the things that Sex and the City did is they would these women would eventually end up having sex with a guy that was actually interesting a little bit. Okay. And when the writers picked up on that, when they actually paid attention to what the fans wanted back then, and when the writers picked up on that, they kept that guy around. Okay, look at someone like like a bad example of this would be like Skipper. Skipper was all in the first season. He was the main character in the first season. In the second season, they got rid of his ass. Okay, because nobody liked him. Like he was just a nerdy guy that Miranda felt sorry for and was fucking. Okay, so they got rid of Skipper. Very nonchalantly, like no one noticed he was gone. They just quit mentioning him. They just quit hanging out with him. All that kind of stuff, just like they quit doing the man on the street interviews. Remember in the first season, and somewhat in the second season. Remember that? Where they were like they would talk to the camera, like some just random New Yorker would just talk to the camera and give you their opinion on something. They got rid of that too in the second season because that wasn't working. Okay, but someone like say Samantha, she would fuck. Like someone like Samantha, they would fuck lots of guys. But every once in a while, you would come across like a Steve, character that was worthy of more than just one episode. Because Steve was kind of cool. He didn't put up with Miranda's shit. Okay, he was a little immature and all that, and he had that Brooklyn accent, and all that stuff. But damn it, I mean, he was like a stand-up guy. He was interesting. You see what I mean? Every once in a while, you'd get those, okay? Even someone like Trey, the guy that Charlotte married, okay? I wouldn't say he was super interesting, but he was just as much of a dumb fuck as Charlotte was, okay? He was just as much as an airhead, only he was a male airhead with a lot more money than Charlotte, okay? And a professional, okay? He was like a surgeon or something, okay? But he was an airhead too, but so they kind of made a cute couple. You can understand why they would get together. Now, obviously, they didn't stay together, but you could understand why they would. Okay, he's just as gullible as Charlotte is. You see what I mean? So some characters were worthy of more than just, one pump and dump episode. Okay, we had a lot. I mean, Bon Jovi was a pump and dump episode. Okay, David Duchovny was a pump and dump episode. Okay, Justin Trudeau, whatever. I mean, not the Prime Minister of Canada. Jennifer Aniston's ex-husband. That guy, he showed up in 2 different episodes playing 2 different characters. He was also a pump and dump guy, right? Stuff like that, okay? Every once in a while you're going to get a Jack Berger, okay? I'm not saying he was perfect for Carrie. No, he wasn't, okay? I'm just saying he was believable. He was realistic. You could understand why he acted the way that he did. I definitely could. All the characters on Sex and the City, the only one that I really identified with was Jack Berger, okay? Yes, he was insecure, and yes, no, but he was believable. He still kept his masculine qualities. Okay, yes, he was insecure about stuff, just like I was in my 20s, but at least he knew, at least he stood up for himself. Okay, he didn't just, he wasn't just subservient to whatever the women were telling him to do. You know what I mean? He had his own identity. Okay, yes, of course he wasn't perfect, all right, but at least he had an identity. Okay, at least he acted like a man. Okay, not a very good man, but a man. Okay, you see what I mean? So he was interesting. Okay, even Alexander Petrovsky was interesting. Okay, to some expect, like how disattached he was, how focused he was on his artwork, that he cared more about his artwork than anybody else. Wow, sound familiar? Sounds just like Carrie. Carrie cares more about her writing and her shoes and her clothes than she does about anybody else. So that was kind of an interesting get together there, a matchup there, So we had interesting characters, okay, on Sex and the City, okay, that were worthy of more than just one. There was one showing, okay, and just like Crab hasn't given us anybody like that. They're trying to do that with Adam, but what is Adam? Adam is just a fucking hippie. It's never explained why he's attracted to Seema. Why would a guy like that, who's I think in real life he's 40. I thought he was in his 30s because he looks really young. He's actually like 49, 50 years old. But that doesn't matter because Seema's 60 years old. Okay, at least I think her character's 59, but in real life she's 60 years old. Okay, why would he be attracted to a woman 10 years older than him? Okay, like it makes no sense. What does he want to have kids with her or something? She can't have kids. Okay. He lives all alone in his house. What's going to happen to him? Okay? He has no children. He's got a sister somewhere, but she doesn't live there. Okay? So what's going to happen to him? Nothing. Nothing. He's going to go nowhere. He's going to get older. He's not going to get married. He's not going to have any kids. He's going to stay there, taking care of his mom's plant until he dies. And who's going to take care of his plant after he's dead? Nobody. Nobody. See, the writers don't think about long term. They don't think that human beings have a natural desire, okay, to create our own replacements. Okay, that's what human beings do. We create the people that are going to replace us in this world. You see what I mean? And they don't do that on this show. They don't. I mean, and they really don't. Okay, Miranda doesn't even like being a mom. Okay, Charlotte, it's like her kids are there, and she loves her kids, and she's concerned about her kids. Okay. But she's also, focused on like her own feelings and what's important to her. You see what I mean? Trying to push her daughter Rose to be a model when clearly her daughter's a lesbian. Okay, that's bad parenting right there. Transgender thing. Okay, doesn't do what she's told. Keeps spouting off fucking socialist fucking narratives and stuff, and doesn't get corrected. Like that. Her daughter's a fucking slut. Okay, Lily. Oh my God, she's in love with gay guys, for Christ's sake, and her parents are okay with that. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay? And as much as Charlotte is crying about Harry's prostate cancer diagnosis, the truth is she's crying for herself. What am I going to do if Harry's gone? Oh no, what about me? All the characters like that. What about me? All Miranda cares about is making Joy happy. Okay? Making Joy happy because Joy makes her happy. So as long as Joy's happy, then Miranda's happy. If Joy ain't happy, Miranda ain't happy. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. This is all just selfishness. That's all it is. Okay? And that makes these characters not likable. Okay, at least on Sex and the City, they at least cared about each other somewhat. Okay? Charlotte did depend on Carrie. Carrie depended on Samantha. Miranda depended on Carrie. They kind of had that dependence on each other. Like at least on Carrie, they did. They didn't depend. Samantha never depended on Miranda for shit. Charlotte did not depend on Miranda. Okay, Charlotte never depended on Samantha. Samantha never depended. Okay, they were circling. All of them were circling Carrie. Okay. I'm surprised that none of you figured that out, okay? That all the women thought that Carrie was their best friend. Because they never did shit together. That's also shocked in this episode that Miranda and Charlotte were walking and talking on the street. Like, when the hell did Miranda and Charlotte start hanging out? Like, that never happened. Okay? That never, ever happened. Okay, they either hung out as a group of four, or it was one of them with Carrie. Okay, that's what always happened. It was never, they didn't hang out with each other. Okay, so yeah, these characters aren't really progressing. They're not doing anything. They're not likable. Look what they did with Sherry O'Terry. They brought in Sherry O'Terry from Saturday Night Live to play a relationship coach or something for Seema. Seema's boss paid for this. And she only lasted one episode and they got rid of her. Like, what the fuck? You know how much gold you could have mined out of that? Okay, Sherry O'Terry's a funny lady. Okay, like you could have brought in some levity into this thing. Okay, I just have some funny people in here instead of depending on Anthony to make all the jokes. You see what I mean? But they missed that opportunity. You brought in that guy. What's his name? McKed Brooks or something. McKed Brooks, the guy that plays Marion. Okay, the big stud. Okay, that Lisa's lusting after. This guy's done a lot of things, okay? He was on Supergirl. He's in Mortal Kombat right now. And they got a movie coming out this fall. Mortal Kombat Part 2 is coming out like in the next couple of months. And he's in it. He's one of the main characters. And what do you do with him? You just show him for a couple of episodes of Lisa thirsting after him. And then like after 2 episodes, oh, you know what? I'm married. I can't do anything with you. Bye. And that's it. That's the end of that storyline. Like, what the fuck were you building up for this for? She didn't even have an affair. This is dumb. What the fuck did you even drag him around? Why were we following that storyline? It went nowhere. You see what I mean? Why were we following Shay Diaz for 2 seasons? Why were we following Naya for 2 seasons? Those stories went nowhere. Nothing happened to them. Nothing has happened with Seema. At the end of the season, she gets a boyfriend. In the beginning of the next season, she dumps the boyfriend. Okay, that's all that's happened. If there was going to be a season 4, Seema was going to dump Adam in that one as well, in the first episode. So what the fuck does it matter? Nobody can make these women happy. These women will never be happy. Okay, they're incapable of being happy. They don't know how to pair bond. They can no longer pair bond with anybody. Okay, people are disposable to them. Okay, men, women, they just come and they go and no one gives a shit. They don't give a shit about that. Okay, she was so in love with Aiden, but how long did she mourn that relationship? What about 30 minutes? And then she's fucking someone else. So, like, what the hell is this? Okay, it undermines the importance of that character. Why the fuck were we even putting up with Aiden for 2 seasons for? The return of Aiden, just so that they could break up like that. Okay, like we hadn't seen them break up already twice on Sex and the City. This is dumb. This is a waste of actors, a waste of talent, waste of storylines, waste of everything. You see what I mean? Why do we have Rose doing her whole transgender journey and shit? She's never going to do anything with that. They're never going to do anything with that. She's never going to come out as officially a lesbian to her parents. They're never going to do that episode. You see what I mean? Why the hell did they bring in Diego, my namesake? Okay, the gay ballet dancer that was boyfriend to Lily. Why did they even build up his character at all? Why was he even on the fucking show? What, so that he can dump Lily off screen in a text? And that's it. That's Lily's story arc. She gets a gay boyfriend that she loves, that she's horny for, and then he dumps her, off screen. And that's about it. Like, where did this go? It didn't go anywhere. You see what I mean? This show didn't go anywhere. Everyone's still where they were. Okay, the biggest thing that happened to Carrie was they killed Big, and that was in the first episode of the first season. Her life has not changed. What, she bought a house? Big fucking deal. It's not like she earned the money to buy that house. It's not like she had to fucking sell a lot of fucking newspaper columns in order to buy that house. She inherited the money from her dead husband because he had no kids. He had no nothing to leave his money to except for her. Who's she going to leave her money to now when she passes away? Nobody. She ain't got nobody. Seema's got nobody. You see what I mean? There's no legacy here. There's nothing to keep the thing going. I hope Lily and Rose, both of them never get their inheritance. You know why? Because they're both a couple of little fucking bitches. That's why. They're unlikable. Both of them. They're insufferable, narcissistic pieces of shit that want to lecture all of society on how things ought to be. Okay? No. The show sucks. The show sucks. And it's every character on this show. It's Miranda. It's Shay. It's Naya. Okay? It's Lisa. Okay, it's Charlotte. Okay, it's everybody telling you. Okay, it's Anthony. Everybody telling you the way you're supposed to think about these things. What are you supposed to feel about these things? They're telling you what you're supposed to think and feel. Okay, they're not letting you come to that conclusion on your own. Okay, they tell you these characters are awesome. They don't show you these characters being awesome. Okay, there's a reason that these characters are always getting their pussy or their assholes eaten out every episode by another character. Look at the way Duncan Reeves talks to Carrie. Oh my God, you're so vivacious and sparkly and stunning and talented and original, and like this goes on. This is every single character on the show gets this treatment. We don't get to see Carrie acting like a cool Carrie. Okay, we get told how great she is. You see what I mean? This is dumb. This is fucking dumb. All right, moving right along. So where we left off last time, Charlotte She does her session, okay? She has some psychic fucking thing going on here. It's a psychic reading that she's doing on a Zoom call, psychic energy exam. And she's doing it at Carrie's house because it's quieter there. They're remodeling, they're refurbishing the walls at her apartment. So she's there, she does her session. The woman she's doing her session with, we don't see her face, but then all of a sudden, Charlotte starts crying about Harry's cancer, which apparently, I mean, they cut the cancer out of his prostate already. So he's recovering, he's fine, he's healthy, okay? I had a 98% success rate, okay? But she's still crying about it, like she's the one that had it, okay? And she's been doing this ever since she found out. Okay, the counselor turns on her screen when she hears Charlotte crying, and what do we see? I guess she's a famous actress, but I don't know who the hell she is. I don't. All I see is an old Jewish lady. Okay, that's all I see. I don't know who the hell she's supposed to be. Maybe she's someone famous. I don't know. I didn't bother to check the credits. Okay, but apparently she's someone famous, but I've never heard of her before. Okay. In fact, she looks exactly like the woman that can get you into the Ivy League schools. Remember that episode? The one who can doctor your SAT scores to get you into. Okay, she looks just like her. Okay, what was her name? Lois something. I don't remember. Who cares? Okay, that character went nowhere either. All right, so that's going on here. Okay, so she lets her see her face. Because she feels sorry for Charlotte because of the cancer diagnosis, and she decides to extend the session to 45 minutes instead of 15 minutes. Okay, and they're going to do a guided meditation. I've got audio cassettes here where you can do a guided meditation. You can do a guided meditation on fucking YouTube. Okay, you don't need to pay somebody to do this. This is dumb. All right. Moving right along, Seema goes to her office. Okay, her lavish office. It's in some stone-walled office. Is beautiful in there. It really is. And she goes there, and her employee is there. I forgot his name. I don't care. And guess who's there at her office? Adam. Apparently, a week has gone by, and Seema has ghosted him. Okay, she accidentally knocked over the pot that had Adam's mom in it. Okay, he basically planted a plant for his mom when she was alive, and she died, and he started taking care of that plant as if it was his mom, just letting it grow wild all throughout the apartment, or mostly the kitchen. Okay, so they've got like branches and shit, all over the walls, all over the windows. But he keeps it next to the window for sunlight. Well, she opens up the window so she can smoke her cigarette, and she knocked the plant, okay, the pot, off the ledge, so it's smashed. So now she feels guilty about it because Adam referred to that as his mother. Okay, and so she feels like she killed his mother. So because of that, she ghosted him. But he shows up at her work all upset with her for not returning his calls, not checking her messages, all that stuff, right? So that goes on here, and she says, like, I killed your mother. He's like, no, breast cancer killed my mother, and so it turns out that he actually went down there to the street and he salvaged the plant. He got a new pot for it, okay? And he repotted the plant. And he gave it to Seema. Why? Why would you give a plant that represents your mother, the exact same plant that represents your mother, to your fuck buddy, okay? She's not your girlfriend. You're not in love. You have not talked about love. I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're a good-looking guy. I know you're 49, but you look like you're fucking 39. Okay, you're a good-looking guy. You're funny. You're smart. Okay, maybe your eyesight's not so great. Okay, but you're a fucking hipster and shit. What the fuck do you see in Seema? Why would you be in love with Seema? Why would you give your mother to Seema? This is stupid. Do you realize this? I give you a straight man's point of view here. The real question you got to ask yourself is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? Because I don't think you can, okay? The truth is, no straight guy would ever fucking do this. Not for Seema. Not for Seema. Okay? Any guy that's willing to give his mom up to some fuck buddy girl, okay, has no fucking life. He has no self-esteem. Do you understand? Okay? And so because I guess Adam felt bad that Seema knocked over the plant with his mom in it, that he decided just to give her his mom in her office. Like, what the hell is this? Since when the fuck is she, like, take care of plants and shit? She can't even fucking take care of herself. It's a fucking chain-smoking alcoholic, disgusting, unhealthy bitch who thinks she's all that. But he gives it to her anyway, and he puts it in a new pot. And she goes like, is that self-watering? He's like, well, that's what you got me for. Get the fuck out of here, okay? This is. There's no guy like this, ladies. There's no guy like this, okay? Any guy like this is not gonna fall in love with Seema, okay? They're gonna fall in love with a younger woman, a woman that can maybe give him some fucking kids, okay? Since he's like fucking 49 years old, doesn't have any kids yet, and he's straight, okay? You know, he will probably want some fucking children, okay? I mean, he's really good with, I guess, his cousin or nephew or whatever, you know, who apparently has autism or something, you know, that works with him. But, I mean, he would be with a woman that could actually give him a family, okay? Not with Seema, who doesn't give two shits about anybody but herself. She works so hard to be a boss bitch, and for what? She has nobody to leave her money to. Nobody. See what I mean? So what's the point? You know? Okay, it's bullshit. Okay, next scene, Lisa's family all got ready to go to Herbert's campaign party. Okay, I guess the decision is going to happen tonight. Okay, whether or not he gets elected as comptroller or not that he's running for. Okay, they all go into the elevator together. It's the mother-in-law, his daughter, his two sons. Okay, his wife. His mother, his wife, his daughter, and his two sons. They all get in the elevator together. They're also screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy!" He's all happy and stuff like, yeah, you know, I'm running for comptroller. I'm probably gonna win tonight. Okay, and then the elevator door closes. Then he immediately opens again, and it's over. Okay, so the entire ceremony, the entire watch party, happened off screen. Off screen, so we don't get to see it. We don't get to see it in real time. Okay, watching the expression on his face when he realizes he lost the election. We don't get to see it. Okay, we see the aftermath. Okay, it's like, close the door, open the door. And now everyone's like, and his mother says like, I don't understand how you could ever participate in an election that you knew you weren't gonna win. Or some shit like that. Just like, you know, just being a bitch. All right, she's a fucking bitch. You know, Lisa tries to comfort him, but of course he starts crying like the bitch that he is, you know. And I was actually kind of shocked that Lisa all of a sudden like grabbed her husband and was concerned about his feelings for losing, you know. Like when the fuck did Lisa start becoming a caring wife? When the fuck did she start giving two shits about her fucking husband, about his feelings? Okay, every time he talks about his feelings or wants to talk about his feelings, which is all the fucking time, okay, she's always dismissive of him. Always gives him a fucking, oh, come on. Oh, man up. Don't talk to me about that. Don't you go try to make me feel guilty now, okay? Well, whose fault was it that, okay, that's how she acts. Every time he wants to talk about his fucking feelings, okay? She just yells at him. She scolds him. She belittles him. She emasculates him. So I don't understand how all of a sudden now she's like being caring and supportive. Like that's not in Lisa's character at all, okay? You know, like where did that come from, okay? And she tells, hey, remember, you're human. You're human. And that goes back to earlier in this episode when Lisa was having an emotional breakdown and Herbert told her that you're human. You're not Supermom tonight, okay? You're human. And now that he's having an emotional breakdown, now she's like, it's okay, honey, you're human. So that's it. That's where this storyline rose and fell right there. Nothing. It meant nothing. Nothing's happening here. Okay, nothing important. We didn't even get to fucking see it. All right. Next scene, Carrie's about to leave for the party. Okay, she's all dressed. She's wearing like a kind of like a more conservative outfit to go to this party that Duncan Reeves invited her to. His publisher's having a party somewhere expensive and nice. Okay, and then she's walking down the stairs. Then she changes her mind. She decides to go back upstairs and change her outfit. She puts on the Vivienne Westwood dress that we saw earlier, that Charlotte pointed out earlier, okay? And of course, we get the whole scene of Carrie strutting her stuff, walking like she's fucking a goddamn Cinderella, going to the ball, you know, in her over expensive dress, okay? Like she's all that. Ladies, let me tell you something, okay? Okay, the whole idea about dresses making you feel better about yourself, that's for you. Okay? Us men, we don't give two fucking shits. The only thing we notice about a woman is when she looks really, really good. Her outfit looks really, really good when it looks really, really like shit. Okay? If it's somewhere in the middle, we're not even going to pay attention to it. And that's the honest God truth, okay? It's not about the fucking clothes. It's not about the shoes. It ain't about the fucking nails or the hair or any of that fucking shit. You know what it's about? It's about the woman inside those clothes, okay? That's what we're attracted to, the woman inside those clothes, okay? There's a reason we don't want to fuck you with your dress on, okay? You see what I mean? But on this show, it's so important. No one gives a shit. Guys don't give a shit. Okay? Unless you're a gay guy or a fashion designer or a gay fashion designer, we don't give a shit. That's the truth. All right, moving right along. Okay, so she stresses over the party where Duncan is talking to his editor-in-chief, who is this older blonde woman. Okay? And Duncan tells her, she's like, oh my God, actually the woman that Duncan's talking to is British like him. And she's like, oh my God, that's Carrie Bradshaw, the famous author. Oh, I've been dying to get to come to one of these parties. I'm surprised she's here. I wonder why she's here. And Duncan is like, I invited her. She's my upstairs neighbor, don't you know? You know, and of course he walks away towards Carrie, and what does this editor do? She's just like, just like that for like 2 hours, her mouth fucking like waiting for a fucking cock to go in there. It's fucking weird. Anyway, so that's going on. Okay, it reminds me of when I reviewed Legally Blonde. Last year when I reviewed that movie. I remember Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. No, I ain't gonna review the sequel. Okay, but I remember like the rich boyfriend she was trying to impress when she went to Harvard, when she told him, I got accepted at Harvard and I'm gonna be going to classes with you. And the boyfriend was just like, just like fucking that, just like this fucking bitch. Anyway, because he's gay too. All right, so they go straight to the bar. That's the first thing that basically that Duncan tells her. Hey, you got a nice dress, by the way. She's like, okay, pay me the money. I mean, remember you said you're going to pay me to be here? That's fine. Let's go to the bar. So, yeah, they go to get drunk. All right. Anthony, the next thing is Anthony. Anthony asks Giuseppe to move in with him, okay, but he doesn't want to, okay? They're at Giuseppe's shithole little apartment. His roommate's in the next room, who's apparently some 70 or 65-year-old man who's asexual, whatever, and likes to make puppets and works at Whole Foods during the night shift. Okay, anyway, who made a puppet of Giuseppe, okay, that looks just like him, a big dick and all right? He made a marionette of fucking Giuseppe, okay? But Anthony's there. Apparently there's a gas leak in Anthony's apartment, so yeah, he's spending nights at Giuseppe's apartment in their little fucking bed, having sex and shit, right? Okay, Anthony asks Giuseppe to move in with him. But he doesn't want to move too fast. Giuseppe says, no, that's going too fast. I am not ready to move in with you. You know? And then he tells him that he has to go pee. I have to go pee. Because that's the way men talk. We tell each other we have to go pee. Did I tell you a gay guy wrote this episode? All right. Just in case you didn't know. Anyway, while he goes to the bathroom, guess what? There's Andrew, his roommate, also with the door unlocked. You see, earlier Andrew walked in, catching Giuseppe and Anthony having sex. He walked in. You know why? Because the door was unlocked. The door was unlocked. He just walked right in. Well, guess what? Here's Andrew jerking himself off to a fucking puppet of fucking Giuseppe. And how is it that Giuseppe just walked in and saw this? Because the door was unlocked. Because that's what we do. We always leave the door unlocked when we're fucking playing with themselves. We always leave the door unlocked when our roommates are home and we're having sex in the bedroom. Right? Doesn't everybody do that? Maybe it's only gay people that do that. Anyway, so now all of a sudden Giuseppe is disgusted at the fact that his roommate, who is supposed to be asexual, is jerking off to him. And he at no point did he ever realize that this was a possibility. So now he's freaked out. The puppets that made in his own likeness, okay, that didn't freak him out at all. But no, watching this guy, his roommate, jerk off to him freaks him out. So he decides he's going to move in with Anthony. And that's the end of that storyline, all right? So that's going on here. Back to the party. Duncan, okay, is there. Okay, it turns out that editor that Duncan was talking to, the blonde woman that went like that, that's his ex-wife that he has no kids with. Now, we knew he used to be married because he mentioned that last episode, but apparently that is his ex-wife. He married his editor. Okay, now they just have a working relationship, but they have no kids. Of course not. Of course not. All right. So that's it. Okay. That's his ex-wife. He asked his ex-wife for an extension on his deadline. He missed his deadline for his book on Margaret Thatcher because he spent so much time with Carrie, reviewing her chapters from her book and criticizing her chapters, and she criticized his chapters. Okay. Because of that, he lost his focus. And so he missed his deadline for the Margaret Thatcher biography that he was writing. So he asked his editor, hey, can you give me an extension? Can you give me some more time? And she says, like, we'll talk about that when you get back to London. Or some shit like that, right? So she goes up to Carrie. We don't know her name. They never say her name. But the editor goes up to Carrie and she says, like, oh, I'm great with writers. You should really, if you ever need an agent in the UK, come see me, Carrie Bradshaw. I am absolutely fabulous great with writers, as long as I don't marry them. Like that, okay? And then she walks away, okay? And then Duncan and Carrie leave the party to go have dinner somewhere, okay? Next scene, we're back at Miranda's apartment. And she's just sitting there watching her son sleep, Brady. He's living with Miranda now. He moved out of his dad's place and is living with his mom now. The irony, right? Okay, but he fell asleep reading a book by Anthony Bourdain. Some chef book that he wrote before he committed suicide because his girlfriend, Asia Argento, got caught having sex with a 17-year-old boy, okay, during the age of Me Too, okay? She also got caught having sex with Harvey Weinstein, but nobody cared about that back then, okay? Once Harvey Weinstein got found out, then she was one of the first people to go against, he forced himself on me. Yeah, but did the 17-year-old force himself on you too? Or did you just like fucking him behind your boyfriend, Anthony Bourdain's back, huh? Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what contributed to Anthony Bourdain 86ing himself. Okay, was probably had something to do with the love of his life, Asia Argenta, having sex with minors. That might have had something to do with it. I'm not really sure, but and I feel sorry for him. He should have gotten some help. He should have talked to somebody, but instead he did what he did. Oh well. Apparently, all of you love him. You love his book series. Okay, you watched his show when it was on. Okay, you love the show The Bear, which I guess he created that show from Beyond the Grave. I guess that was based on his experiences, really, in Chicago, trying to turn around a restaurant. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I know very little about Anthony Bourdain. Why? Because I'm not a woman and because I'm not fucking gay. Okay, all I know is he's some fucking chef that was on TV a lot, that traveled the world tasting fucking food and shit. I don't give a shit about that stuff, okay? Sorry. I know you women do, but I don't. And most guys don't. Most straight guys don't, okay? Unless they're a chef themselves, all right? Anyway, so that happened, okay? He's there. He's got a book by Anthony Bourdain on his lap, okay? On his stomach, okay? And he's asleep, and Miranda's just there looking at her son, like, my son is living with me. That's weird. That kind of thing, right? All right, next scene. Duncan and Carrie, they walk back to her place, or their place actually, because he lives downstairs, she lives upstairs. Duncan says, look, I think you're wonderful, Carrie. So does everyone else in New York. And this goes on for a few hours. The whole praise, the whole eating out her asshole thing, You're so fabulous. You're so popular. Everyone knows you. I had no idea until tonight that you were a thing. Like, everybody loves you. You're so incredible. You're vivacious. You're popular. Your cock is much bigger than mine. You're a more talented writer than me. Your spelling is better. Your wit is better. And this just keeps going on. Right? Anyway, that's going on here. And then she looks at him and goes like, and you know what? You're a mess. It can never go the other way around on this. Just so you know, in case you haven't figured that out yet, that's one of the rules of Sex and the City and this show. Okay, you can always compliment the women to death. That's fine. It's expected. It's required. You can never compliment the men. It never goes the other way around. You know why? Because that would be sexist. All right. Yeah. Anyway, she says, you're a mess, and he says, like, Carrie, if we hadn't left this house, we never would have discovered that. Okay. Carrie says, like, rewrite coming in. You're not a mess. I think you're wonderful as well. Oh, okay. So she just gets one adjective, wonderful, where he has to spout out like 67. Okay, I guess that's fair, right? Duncan says, like, do you want to come downstairs? I'm done writing for today and forever. You know, she declines. Yeah, bro. She passed up some dick. She declines, okay, and they say goodnight to each other, and then they leave. They part. She goes upstairs, he goes downstairs, okay? And then all of a sudden, she turns around and runs after him downstairs and just starts kissing him like crazy. And all that shit's going on, okay? You know, it's like those romance movies you see where the girl says that she screams the guy's name, she runs after him on the beach and shit, you know, and eventually they get to each other like, ah! You know, like, okay, well, that's what happened here, but the distance was only like maybe 4 feet. All right, so that's going on. Okay, you know, and then of course, you know what happens next? They have sex. So we see the pois coitus, coitus. Or I don't know the fuck you say it anyway. So we see the bedroom talk now. Okay, where he's got a blanket covering his junk, and she's got a bra covering her because she has sex. She has sex with her bra on. All the women do on the show. The men are always naked, but the women always keep their bras on during sex. And her hair is perfect. It looks exactly like it did when she went to the party. And he's smoking a cigarette. And she's not disgusted by it at all. Well, I guess not, because I mean, he did smoke pipes in front of her. And remember, Carrie used to be a chain smoker, but not anymore. She quit that on Sex and the City. So, yeah. They're just sitting there talking, you know, and the first thing he tells her is, I won't be returning. I'm leaving New York and I will not be returning. See what I mean? They built up this whole season was built up between Duncan and Carrie, and for what? It's not going to go anywhere. Get it? It's not gonna go anywhere. Like, there's no point. What's she gonna do? Go move to fucking Europe to be with him? Didn't they do that already on Sex and the City? Didn't she move to Paris to be with Alexander, the gay ballet dancer? What? They're gonna rewrite that storyline again? No. Was Aiden gonna come to fucking the UK to rescue her from him? Is he gonna slap her? Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So he won't be returning. He smokes a cigarette in front of her. That doesn't trigger her nicotine addiction at all. He asks her how her book will end. Because remember, she's working on a book too. And Carrie says, like, she'll die from loneliness or smallpox. Because her book takes place in the 1840s, all right? It's about some fucking slut that lives in her building. She has no name. She's just called the woman. Okay. And he recommends that she lives. Because she's so unique, you know, and it'd be a shame to end her and all that kind of bullshit, okay? You know, he's talking, obviously, she's talking about Carrie. He's not talking about the character in the book, all right? All right, he tells her that he's not used to being preoccupied with living people. He usually writes biographies about dead people. You know, he's like, I've missed the deadline, but you, Carrie, you've given me a lifeline. Yes, somebody wrote this. Somebody wrote this dialogue, okay? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ, she's just a fuck. She's just a fuck, okay? She's like, I got drunk one night, okay? I got drunk one night and I woke up with fucking Carrie Bradshaw. That's what this is, okay? Holy shit. That's all it is. That's all it is. Realistically, that's all it would be. But not on this show. Now he's basically fucking quoting sonnets and shit for her now. Like, what the fuck, okay? Well, at least Carrie points it out. Like, oh, you are such a writer, Duncan. Like, you know? Okay, which is cool. At least she pointed out the ridiculousness of what he was saying. And Duncan says, like, and darling, so are you. You're such a writer as well. You're so beautiful. You're better at sex than me. Your pussy is better than mine. Your cock is so much bigger than mine. You're so eloquent and vivacious and sparkly and lovely and talented and popular. And it just goes on again, you know all that shit. Okay, and then he's gone. Next scene, Carrie's out there sitting in the deck in the patio, you know, next to her garden, and she's sitting there by herself, sitting alone, Okay, and all she's thinking about is she says, "Oh how wonderful! Oh how wonderful! Oh how wonderful!" 3 times. Okay, that's the end of that episode. Okay, did I tell you the show got canceled? Well, it did. It did. Okay. So I'm done with this episode, but I will be back to finish. I will finish reviewing this whole goddamn show. I will. All right. We'll be back for the next episode. I thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.